You know, it's hard to find people that will attend and take part, but he's good. Okay. Move down to 4D. This is Resolution R-62-22. This is a reappointment of Sarah Moore to the Board of Assessors. Paula, everything good there? She attends, and all that's good. That's what we want. Okay. All right. Everybody fine with her going back on there? Okay. Move down to 4E, Resolution R-63-22. This is a reappointment of Bobby Allen Waters to the Board of Assessors. What about Paul? Does he attend pretty well? Okay. All right, good. Okay. All right. Everybody fine with him? Good. Yeah. All right, move down to 4F. This is Resolution R-64-22. This is reappointment of George Reed to our Board of Health. George, I'll speak for him. He misses. I don't even think he's ever missed a meeting. He's also our chair, and he did call me yesterday evening while Robert and I were fixing to leave, coming back to the meeting, and said he really didn't know what he was going to be reappointed. He didn't. He's retired now and all. And then I told him, I said, well, think about it. And he called me early this morning and said he and his wife had talked about it and prayed, and he said he would serve another term. But George is good. He's just right here, so he don't miss. And he's like I said, he's the chair of the board. So everybody fine with George? Okay. Move down to 4G. This is Resolution R-65-22. This is a hard one here. Appointment of James Cantrell to the Industrial Development Authority. James, I think, is doing a good job. He has been not been on there that long, but he really is. He attends the meeting, and he does his job. And Evan, have you here?
Yes.
James, you feel.
Chairman now.
Right. That's the editor's right. He's the chairman. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he does okay. Everybody fine with that? Okay. All right. I move down to 4H. This is a Resolution R-66-22. Appointment of a member to the Industrial Development Authority, and where that's coming from is Larry Moore Jr. We call him Little Larry. He is since his father passed away there a few weeks ago. He's just got too much on him, and he's afraid he's going to not be able to attend meetings. So he has verbally said that he would serve his term, which is up in December, right?
Correct.
And then after that, he will no longer be on the board. So we've had a person that had showed some interest in it, Will Garrett, which Will owns our Guthrie's, chicken place. And so if y'all got anyone else that you can think of that might want to serve, that's on the Industrial Development Authority, we can wait about that appointment until December and kind of look and see, but we do have one person that, and so we got that. So if y'all want to do that, but we do need to make the appointment in December. That way they can take their office in January. Yeah. And remember, this person you put on there, that we put on there, that is an authority. It's not like the Tax Assessors Board. This is it's 5 years or 6 years.
6 years.
6 years. That's what I was thinking. So, once you put that person on there, they're there for 6 years, and you can't just voluntarily take them off. I mean, whatever, they've got to really commit a crime. Or we do have that clause that we put in. I know it was on the Water Authority. I think it is if they miss 3 meetings in a row, and for attendance reasons, we can pull them, right?
Yeah, now that's kind of our rule of the Board of Commissioners rule. I don't think that's not the constitutional amendment of the board, though, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
I think people understand that going forward.
Yeah. And of course, if it was excusable, it's different. If they're sick or got, that's different. But if they just really just don't show up, it's because it's pretty important. That's the people that they go out and solicit their industry. So be thinking about that between now and December. Okay, let's move down to 4I. This is Resolution R-67-22. This is a reappointment of Buford Stevens to Limestone Valley RC&D. This is he and John Case are representatives on that, and they meet quarterly, and they actually represent the us with the Limestone Valley as far as our farmers, our, ag, more the ag, people. And both John and Buford, I don't know of a meeting they've ever missed. I mean, they always go and they attend, and they, hear good things about them from people when I go to meetings, but so, both of them are good. So, if you feel good about that, I mean, okay, Buford.
Good. Sounds like we're looking at him.
Okay, let's move down to 4J. This is Resolution R-68-22.
Let's hold off on J and K until next month. No, I had a chance to talk to them too to make sure that they're,
Okay, both of these are yours?
yes.
Okay. All right, what Mr. Hartline just said is on that's his representative, Mr. Kevin Smith, on the Special Use Permit Board and also on the Water and Sewer. So and that's fine, we got time, that'd be good. So we'll go ahead and table that till next, till next meeting. Move down to the, number 5, this is approval of SPOS or capital equipment, if any. This is, 5A, the letter of intent, Georgia Mountain Regional Commission. This is an update on their photography, aerial photography, ortho photography of Dade County. And do you have, you want to go over that with us, Alex?
Yeah, part of the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission that Ted attends and I do as mayor, and there's a lot of things. This is the Georgia Mountain region. And back in 2018, we went through this again, and we went and got photography for the tax assessors and 911. And it has come back up again, and when they sent it out earlier in the year, I requested that we be requested for the 6-inch pixel resolution, 4-color, and it's $68 a square mile. Currently, we're 187 square miles, and our current photography, it was done in December, January of 19. And there's quite a bit of stuff changed that would help the assessors and for us in 911. And some of the bigger things that we see is like the Founding Way in the Brock subdivision out there with all those new houses. It's not currently on there. Some of the many subdivisions and homes that we have put in since 2019. And every few years it's good. Again, we're going with Northwest Georgia Regional Commission and the Georgia Mountain Region to do this. And the cost is $12,716, and the Georgia Mountain Regional Project Administration of $1,000. So a total of $13,716 that we would like to use SPLOST funding for the tax assessors in Dade 911.
Y'all understand what that is now? I know back when we did this and jointly combined with them, it saved us thousands of dollars. It would have cost us 3 to 4 times what it cost us to go over and do especially with the LiDAR and all that,
We done LiDAR last time, and that's something we won't do every time. We're still waiting on the final run of that. It is close. Georgia Mountain Region lady that's over this asked us to send her a hard drive because it's close. Faith Bryan has been the head lead of this since we started this. And, one time we looked at pictometry, and that was something we really looked at. And Paul and us, and that's where they come in and they do 3D flights or 3D layers of looking at the images, or they have cameras that do different. It was over $100,000 for that. So this is it helps with reevals as we go out and look. They can look at, I use it to death when I'm out addressing these new homes. As we'll see tonight, there was, more homes, and we're up to 113, but we can do a lot of things. If somebody comes in and sees us and the photography's good, I can do a lot right there with them sitting in my office or things. So it's really good, helpful for us as the county's changing and moving. But the LiDAR will, when it's finished, to give us true topography besides what the original topos were.
Also, it's accessible through our assessor's office, right?
Yes, it is.
Through
It's a shared
online
project.
for the general public. You could really use it as far as property or, Mr. Hartline, what do you think?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Flower.
Yeah, I looked at Paula and she said it was helpful for her. So.
Yeah. It's something we always share together. We've been working together. We share the plotter, and
Yeah.
You know, that's the things where departments working together in the same thing. We
Yeah.
just helps us all.
Ms. Bradford?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I'm good.
Okay, put that on the consent agenda there, okay? All right, let's move down to number 6. Sorry. Yeah, number 6. This is approval of RPA expenditure, if any. And pretty much all we've got is just something that you can look at here. This is something that Alex had brought to us a while back, and our system, our actual phone system, is really, 16 years old?
17
years
coming
old.
up on 17.
And he has went out and got some bids on this. It's not something we're going to approve tonight, but it'll give us something to look at, for the December meeting where you can go in depth. And
2 months ago when we opened the bids for the recording system, which we, just let you know, and it come back Friday, and we dealt with a death Monday and Tuesday, one of our firefighters that for a long battle of Huntington's, but yesterday and today we spent a lot of time going through each four of these. Again, this is for your information to look at. I've got a breakdown here in the front and the detailed RFP pricing that we asked for, and this is just a quick summary for you to look at. And when, brought this up to you, gone with a recorder in this that we felt would qualify, working with Don and Ted, that this would qualify under ARP funding if y'all choose to use it. If not, I would like to request SPLOSH funds for this. But we are on a system that is dying. We have taken parts from the system that Whitfield gave me 5 years ago. Zetron don't even support this anymore. This is when people truly dial 911 on their cell phones or landlines, that gives us information lat and long and maps it to our CAD system to get help. And 17 years is a long time.
Yeah, I've seen it. It needs,
And, back then, I think it was $96,000 or $98,000 we paid for that out of SPLOSH in 2006. So the lowest range is Solacom for $171,469, all the way up to Zetron, which is our current system of $193,808. But what's got me is this is for 4 positions inside the center. We have true 4 positions. Currently, we only have 3 phones, and there's days we get in there we can't answer it because all 3 of them are on the phone. If myself or Daniel or Thomas or anybody comes in on special events, if 3 phones are ringing, we can't answer them, and they're all 3 on the phone, and there's time to just rings and rings and rings and rings. We'd like to get that 4th station 100% and possibly have a 5th station. If you're over there, that front glass room, when you come in and you have the glass, we have another CAD station in there when we get busy. We'd love to have another one up there to have a total of 5 stations when bad events come through or certain things that we could really help get information, because what's bad is when it's really bad, we have to get somebody off the phone to start dispatching the call.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to let the phone ring, and I'm actually standing over top of a dispatcher. I hand plug the phone back in, and me and Daniel are answering over top of the dispatcher as they're dispatching a call, because the phone gets so loud and it's confusing. We're trying to get them. And this happens a lot with wrecks. People call, but they just drive by. A wreck, we'll get 50 or 60 calls on a wreck constantly. It just rings and rings. So it's a little hard when, like, if I was just standing over Robin here trying to pick up that phone around him while he's trying to dispatch an ambulance or a patrol car, because usually we got to get 2 people off the phone, get loud EMS or fire, or get the fire department moving and rescue, and it just gets a little rough. Or we could set on those other 2 stations when it's busy, and more or less we say, we got the phone, y'all do your job. So, but again, we would really like to see that 5th, but the up front in Zetron is the most. The additional station is 17,000, and it goes all the way up to Motorola, which is 25, Westel is 21, and Solacom. But what really gets me is the yearly support. Zetron, this is support with the provider, and Zetron is $12,575 a year. Motorola is nearly $29,500 a year. Westel is $18,000, and Solacom is $32,295. Zetron and Motorola is the 2 we really like for right now, but we really like to have some more time to whittle some of this stuff down. We're a current Zetron, and we've been with them for 17 years, and the look and feel of the system, even the new system, is looks about what we're used to, and we think about dispatchers' eyes and what they're used to seeing and how it works. When we designed the new CAD in 11, we designed it from what our old one looked like because it was so customizable. It's just a habit that we beat into them within 60 seconds. We're answering the phone and moving somebody. So Walker has this system. Jasper, Marion County, Tennessee has this system. Walker's been on the Zetron Max since 2011. And again, we're on the old analog series. So this is just for your information. And if we get and feel the proceeds are better to move, that we can and it's just there for you.
Okay, we'll look it over. Yeah. All right, thank you. Let's move over to, so we covered all of that. Historical Courthouse project. Jamie will give us a report in December about that. He's not going to be here tonight, Mr. Blevins.
There is a written one on here.
There wasn't,
There is a written report on here if you.
but as far as verbal, he's not.
Right.
No, that's for your information. You can look at it. But our next item, Paula, come out number 8. This is the 2021 sales ratio study appeal and hearing result. Ms. Paula Duval.
All right, I believe it was a month ago that I came and presented the 2021 sales ratio study that we get every year from Department of Audits, and there was an issue there. Then we did agree, and the commissioners did agree to appeal that. We did have our hearing. I was really pleased with, how many showed up because I think we all learned a lot. I know I learned a lot about the ins and outs of the audit department that we don't see. We get our report and then we move on. So I know that I learned a lot, and we did get our results back. I believe it was last week. There were some minor changes, but we did not get the result we wanted. When we first appealed the median, which measures how well our current prices are in line with what's actually selling, the residential median was at 37.05. After the appeal, that did increase slightly to 37.63. The big issue with that is if that number is not at a 38, we cannot collect public utilities at 40%. Mm-hmm. So because of that, it does reduce what the county will collect from public utilities. So, and then our COD, in the first study, it was at 17.04 under the residential. After the appeal, it did drop to 16.21, which is still not within the passable and acceptable range. That should be under residential properties 15 and below. So slight changes, but not enough to really get us what we needed.
Make a difference, yeah.
So we were not very happy, but we did what we could. And I think a lot of this, hopefully Department of Revenue will wake up a little bit, and because really the Department of Audits is not the compliance department. That's the Department of Revenue's job. And, several years ago, they just kind of shoved it off on Department of Audits. So I'm hoping with as many counties as have this same problem, over 100 counties throughout the state, have these same issues. So I'm hoping the Department of Revenue will step up and get back into the compliance game, which is where it should be. Because, Department of Audits and Department of Revenue, when we value and our statistical numbers, they're different. We do it differently. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to try to get the same result when you're using different methods, especially when you're using sales that are a year apart. And in this market, the way it's going, a year can make a huge difference. Used to didn't be that way, but these last 2 or 3 years, we've all seen the real estate market just explode. So when you're going a whole year ahead, there's no way to keep up with that when we can't make changes based on where our hands are tied, and the sales and things that we can use. So anyway, I just wanted to report on that. We did have some slight changes, but not enough as to what we wanted. So what will happen, since the COD is still above a 0.15, the county will be put under a consent order. And what that means is, because 2021 was our office's digest review year, which means the Department of Revenue came in, they review us every 3 years. So if your audit report and your digest review year, it matters, especially on those years. So what will happen is the consent order just basically states if this issue is not corrected within the next digest review year, which will be 2024, then the county will be penalized even further. So, hopefully within that time frame, this will come together, and we won't have to see this. Because, when you do a total countywide reevaluation, which is what we did in 2021, our internal numbers look great, and that's just all we have to go by. And then you get something like this, it just blows everything out of the water as far as not what we did, but how it affects the county. It's a little frustrating and disappointing, basically as far as, we're doing our jobs, we're keeping up with what we're supposed to keep up with, and then, this kind of throws a kink in things. Again, it's mostly as far as the county is concerned. So anybody have any questions?
Well, the reflection of a lot of the property that's sold in the last, say, year, or, that's bringing way more than,
Absolutely.
the people are paying 3 times, 4 times what their property really you'd think it would be worth. I mean, when a house goes up and, you got a $550,000 piece of property there, and then these people getting a bid more, and they give 30% more than, that right there is where that's what's
That's right.
affecting this.
Absolutely.
Not y'all, and it hit us all at once, because anyone's ever sold anything in the last year even, I mean, or
it's still-
bought anything.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people sold, and then they go back and try to buy back, even close to what they got, they can't do it.
That's right.
So that's what's really through a curve. But I found out this, a lot of you counties, there was 100 and more. A lot of them are just like us. They didn't come up. I mean, the majority did not.
That's right.
Didn't win the appeal.
That's right. And I mean, the audit department, their hands are tied too, by their policies and their procedures. And
Yeah,
it's
'cause they
not
go
that
by
they're doing
numbers.
anything wrong. We're just on two different playing fields.
They go by real sales. They go by real numbers, and nothing.
That's right. And we're a year behind. And usually the things that they, when they pull their sales, we've remedied that in the current year that we're working in. But, again, we can't go back a year. So again, we can't keep up with the year ahead. So
Okay.
hopefully, maybe something will change.
Any questions?
Where are
Okay.
they getting their information at? And
They use our sales. They pull our sales. They pull our property records. But they're pulling, like we have to use previous year sales because we're working on January 1. So we're not really, according to Department of Revenue, supposed to use any sales after January 1. But Department of Audits uses, if they're doing the 2021 audit report, they're using 2021 sales, where we're using 2020 sales. And they're going all the way to like September of 2021. I mean, that's a huge, huge difference
yeah, they
in
ought to be on the
value.
same book
It's
we're
just-
in.
So I'm really hoping Department of Revenue will step up and get back in the compliance game, and because it's going to cost counties. I mean, I can't imagine across the state, just seeing what we're having
A
to
lot
deal
of-
with,
yeah, a lot of counties.
how many other counties are having to, lose money from public
That
utilities
means we're
and
gonna
things
lose
like
money
that.
this
So,
year.
Which is huge.
And how much is it?
very huge.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for us because we know we're doing our jobs. I could understand if we weren't, but we know we are. So it's frustrating when you get something like this that affects the county and the taxpayers, and things like that. So
And a lot of
hopefully-
people don't really understand all of that either, so it's confusing.
It is. It really is.
Mhm.
So hopefully, if we get some news along the way, I'll be more than happy to, come back and talk about it some more.
Sure. Yeah, appreciate that.
Okay.
Any more
Good
questions?
report. All right, thank you. All right, let's move down to number 9. This is on their TBN broadband update, and they will be here in December. They couldn't get everything together, the people that are doing the installation and the phone company, so they call and they're gonna put us up. Actually have the people, the contractors with them, and also the phone company, and give us a real update on it. And move down to number 10. Don, what have you got on the? there?
It's surplus property for sale. Billy has 4 different lots. I think it's 4 different lots, yeah. For sale, one is a Rhino Batwing rotary cutter, which, AKA, that's a bush hog in Dade County. And I was like, what is a rotary cutter? When he told me that, and I was like, oh, you mean a bush hog. Anyway, unit number 158 is a 2011 Ford Crown Vic. Unit 103, which is a 2007 Crown Vic. and Unit 97 is a 2011 Crown Vic, all for sale. Or going to be put on Gov Deals.
Yeah, okay. Any questions? Okay. Go ahead and put that on the consent agenda. Okay. Number 11, this is our resolution R-57-22. This is our service delivery strategy and local options sales tax, which we call LOST. This is the certificate of distribution, and we actually went through our meetings with the city, and we reached an agreement. We're going to leave everything the same. They agreed to that. And so, Don, you've got everything going our way as far as got all the paperwork in. So thank goodness, because we were at a meeting last night. A lot of counties are running into problems that have more than one city, and there's several counties in our region that they're having problems and disagreements and going through arbitration and all that. And so it's not good in some places, but thank goodness we just got one city. You don't have anything, Don, to that? Or,
This resolution really does two things as well, in addition to the loss. We'll be sending that to Department of Revenue, and they will certify that so that it continues January 1st on. All right. We had till December 30th, and that will be here before you know it. So we're thankful to work that out with the city. And we're fortunate to have one city. Like Ted said, some have 4, 5, 6 cities, and that's tough. Also, it does, anytime you update your local option sales tax or negotiate that with a local municipality, and or you update your comprehensive plan, which we did earlier in the year, then we have to update what's called the service delivery strategy. There's been no material change, but we still have to do that and recognize that, so we'll be sending that to the Department of Community Affairs. So that's what this resolution does. It does both.
Okay. All right. Any questions now?
Just appreciate the city working with us on it.
Yep. I do too, yeah. Okay, we actually, 12 and 13, Robin has asked to table that till he really reviews this document, right? I mean, you go through it.
12, 13, and 14.
12, 13, and 14, yeah, it's down there. So we'll revisit that in December and vote on that, because we need to get it passed, because it's it's up in January, right, in December.
End of December.
Yeah, so we got time, so but it's just a long document, and I can see why he wants to go through and just look at it and read it. So, we got Evan. He wants to come up and give us a little report here tonight, if you would, Evan. Evan Stone with our IDA.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We wanted to kind of bring everyone up to date on some of the projects that we're working on, and it's really the last 3 or 4 months have been a very busy time. We've got 2 of our industrial representatives from the industrial park are currently doing expansions. You may have saw the Integer office complex, temporary complex that they've done. They're going to be building some office building adjacent to the between Dr. Richards' old office and their existing plant on Highway 11, as well as they're going to be doing a couple of new clean rooms. That's about a $6.1 million expansion that's going to generate probably, they tell me, in 1 to 2 years, probably another 150 jobs somewhere along in there. So that's some great news with Integer. Learned this week, I sat down with Han, who is the plant manager and one of the owners of Trenton Pressing, and they're going to be working to announce that they're going to be doing about $5 million expansion, and going to be building another 50,000 square foot onto their existing plant on top of the hill. The Industrial Development Authority will be taking that to the board coming up here in a couple of weeks. We're going to have to look at swapping maybe some land. They want part of a road that goes down to some creek area property, and they're going to do some swapping with us. Back with Integer, the IDA did approve selling 0.8 acres of land. They're going to be selling to their parent company to be able to put that new facility on Highway 11. So that is a couple of good news. It's going to be about a $5 million expansion for Trenton Pressing. They said, I asked Honda, I said, when are y'all looking at to doing this? And he said, tomorrow if we can. They're ready to go. So that's good. I did ask while I was there, I said, what is currently your average wage? And they're running about $19 an hour on average. You know, that's pressers all the way down to portfolio operators,
Laborers.
labor and different things like that. So that's very good news. This expansion, there's going to be a lot of automation in it. There's going to be some more pressing. He's going to move some of the pressing things around, but that's going to bring an additional 20 jobs there. So that all great news as far as the expansion. We got two very good partners in the industrial park, all going to be doing expansions here over the next few weeks, a few months actually. Wanted to kind of bring you up to date also on several projects, the RFIs. We've been getting several in after COVID kind of kicking up. We've been working with a project called Abraham, Project Mayfair, and been working with a local realtor, some of you may be aware of it, called Project Davis 5-Star. And just last week, the North Georgia Joint Development Authority, working with Spencer, he called and he's put us in for yet another one. We don't know the name of that project, so that's about 5 or 6 projects that we've got that are actually currently being worked right now. The Industrial Development Authority had about a year and a half ago sold some land entered into an agreement with Beltline Energy to sell some land that was sort of less desirable to be able to build on, but they could put up some solar panels. And they worked with Georgia Power and one of our industrial sites to do a new cellular site to be able to generate power. And looks like that's going to close, working with Robin, probably by the 15th of December. That's going to generate about another $127,000 roughly, I think, from that sale with some land in the industrial park. So that's the 2 pieces of property that we currently manage. One's leased by Integer and one's leased by Memorial. We've negotiated both leases to extend one for 5 years and one for 10 years here. We've been busy in the last 90 days. I stay very much in contact with our county attorney on several things that we're doing. Did attend the Georgia Economic Development Conference here about 2 months ago. Learned a lot. I think the executive just went to a meeting here about traffic and some of the things that are coming up that I learned down at the conference about truck traffic and how they're going to be switching over from people driving trucks to them driving themselves. And they told us, and Commissioner, you might want to elaborate on this. They said, now some of this stuff is not coming. The technology is here.
Happening. It's happening.
Georgia, as a matter of fact, has got about 18 miles, I believe, on one of the areas outside of Atlanta. Is kind of like a experimental type of area where these trucks drive themselves. There's people in them, but they actually drive themselves. They've got wireless internet every so many feet down these highways that keeps these trucks in constant contact with their dispatcher and where they're going and all kinds of things. It was quite of a eye-opening experience to see that this is happening. And Georgia's leading the front. Matter of fact, because of what we've got in Georgia, I think they said 38 states were going to use this as a pilot, to watch how this is going to be implemented. It's very interesting. So that's going to be good. One of the main things that they told us about, and that I wanted to make sure that y'all knew, and any ideas that y'all may have, not just in Georgia but across the country, is housing. We need housing to be able to bring workers and workforce. some of the industrial development, some of the economic development organizations in the state are now looking to incentivize large homes, subdivisions, and using some of their avenues to be able to incentivize folks to come in and build 150, 200, 300 homes because we're running out of workers, in the facilities. And obviously we've got that problem here because we've got more jobs in the industrial park, and which is a great thing. But they're doing well recruiting because their pay scales are up and they're doing well. But and we need all the folks that can move close enough to drive. So, I met with a couple of different large construction companies that work with these type of investors while I was down there, and it's just remarkable. Everybody's having the same problem. We just need additional homes for people to be able to move in. I do want to tell you one of the other things that we're looking at will be we're going to invite y'all to a tour of the industrial park, and we're putting this together in January. We figured January would be good. Hope the weather will be okay. We'd like to invite the Dade County School Board, everyone here at the commission, the city commission, and anyone at the water board would like to go. All of the kind of folks that really need to understand what's happening. I think everyone can get a good idea of what's being made and what's being made and shipped. We export things every day out of the industrial park here that most people don't even know that we're making. So we want to put that tour together, have y'all come, we'll have lunch, and probably a couple of hours, and it'll be sometime in January. I talked with the executive about that, so we've been putting that together for y'all. It's been busy. We're glad that we've got these companies that are expanding, and hopefully some of these other projects that I've got here will come back and want to be able to look at some of the land that we do have. Do y'all have any questions?
Question for Evan.
Thank you so much that's a good
Well,
report.
and thank y'all. And what I intend to do is try to every 3 or 4 months come back and give y'all. And of course, I meet with the executive pretty much daily, and see all of y'all and talk to y'all on occasion. But anytime you hear anything, you want to talk with me, I want to get in touch with me. Our board is doing great. I will tell you, the way that we are structured, being an authority board, we have 6 members. And you have to have 4 to have a quorum, and that's hard, especially when everybody's volunteer to be able to have 6. So it is important to put someone on there that will go to the meetings and things, and we can't expand the board. We can't do anything with it because it was a constitutional amendment in the state that created the Industrial Development Authority. So unless we put it on a constitutional amendment in the state of Georgia, we can't change the number of people. It's 6, and it takes 4 to have a quorum. So I know that y'all have a very important appointment for the next 6 years, and it is very important that George is here. He's one of the members, is to be able to have folks that can attend, and we've got a great board right now. I hate to see Larry leave. I talked with him again today, and he. Maybe at some point in time we'll be able to come back and serve on this board or something else. But he came in and going to fill out his dad's unexpired term, so that's good. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
All right. Anyone else got anything else they want to bring before work session before we, nothing? Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and adjourn the work session and take about a 5-minute break, and we'll start with our regular meeting.